Hey, I'm Jay Woodard. I am a creative director, photographer and videographer of the Ed32 agency based in the south of Ireland in Cork.
Hi, I'm Judy Russell. I'm a video coach and founder of the Vid Academy.
Hi, I'm Jen Bryan and I'm the co-founder and chief marketing officer of a digital marketing agency called Velocity Growth.
I'm Sian Horn. I'm a business mentor and coach. I'm also the founder of the national network for women in business called The Club. And I also am the ambassador for Champion Green.
Welcome to the podcast that we don't really have a name for yet, but we will eventually get there. I wanted to create this podcast because I spent a lot of time working on my own. And at the end of every week, I'm kind of like, I don't know, I fail to kind of summarize all the things that I've learned. And then I go on Instagram or TikTok and I see what these guys are learning throughout the week. And I'm like, I want to talk to them about what they've learned, what I've learned, and see if we can kind of synergize what we've learned together and feel more like part of a community. So that's why we got here today. So obviously I was like, let's create something really simple where we jump on a call and we just have the chat. And then when I got these four on an actual call, they were like, how about we do it weekly? How about we get into a room and sit together and do it? So we won't do it in a room every week. We'll probably put it online, but it's really cool because I've actually never met Jen in person. Shan, I've met loads of times, but never in this kind of environment. And Jay, same. So we're going to hit straight off without any introductions and just start with the first segment, which is your highlight of the week. So I'll go to you first, Jen. Could you give us your highlight of the week so far?
I suppose my highlight of the week is probably last week as opposed to this week because not a huge amount has happened this week yet. But we started working with this client in the US a few months back and they've decided to transition their model with us to a purely performance-based. And it's really interesting because what we would have made with them working as a standard agency rate is going to be completely different on a performance package because now we can scale the account potentially 5, 6, 7 times. Like the work we put in, we already know because we've been working with them so long what we can do to keep scaling it out. And it's just something we're thinking of doing across a ton of other clients. We've been like, let us pull out a retainer and work purely on performance.
Because you're kind of working towards deliverables on a retainer, where if you can on performance, you're just go.
Because it's really interesting because normally, like with clients, like they pay the ad platforms directly, but with this model, what happens is that there's an agreed amount that has to be brought in revenue-wise. The ad revenue or the ad spend is deducted from that, and then whatever is left is like split on a percentage. So the ad spend doesn't necessarily come from the client anymore. It's just as much coming out of our pocket to figure out what's happening for it. And I haven't seen the model before, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I can think of a lot of people that would be excited about that.
Yeah.
And whose idea was it? Yours or the client's?
A mixture. We had done it a handful of times with other clients, but it hadn't really panned out because what we had done is saying, okay, we'll look at your best performing month and it's only every time we outperform that month. Whereas this is like, and it was still up to them what ad spend. You see, that's always the problem with a performance-based package like that is that, okay, well, at the end of the day, if you're only spending $2,000, we can only perform to the maximum of $2,000 regardless. Like the performance can't scale. But with this model, because we have some control over, like, right, we'll spend more money. We know we can scale this, and this. Then we eventually get their revenue back off it, and then we get a chunkier distribution of it. So it's just a different way of looking at it, but I'm really excited about it.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shan, highlight?
My highlight of this week was easy, actually. So most of my learning comes from listening. And so, as you know, like I spend a lot of my time on the road actually speaking to people. And this week I was actually invited to the Women of the Year 2023 with Tatler at the Shelburne. And so to place that myself in that room, complete imposter syndrome, 100%. First of all, I've got a bit of that today as well, obviously. But complete imposter syndrome, however, realised when I left that I should have been there. So it was a very proud moment. I met some exceptional women in business and there's going to be a lot to come from it. So that was 100% my highlight of this week.
Cool. And Peggy Crowley from Ground, she's your
We brought two awards back to Cork. Peggy won Entrepreneur and Anne-Marie O'Connor also won an award. So a proud night for Cork too, which was great.
Gosh, brilliant. Jay?
My highlights are a little less than them. I got a batch of videos done I wanted for my personal stuff downstairs here in Take 9. And I've been wanting to do it because forever I've been shooting, editing the same day, getting the video out that night. It is not the way to live. It is not the way to live. So this week I finally sat down and actually batched 4 or 5 videos out and have a schedule out. And before actually, because I'm a member here in Tech9 now with the guys, I've never, because this is my 3rd week here, so like I've only started implementing just from the conversations you saw today when you rocked up. Like we all learned something just talking to people. So I've been with Killian and Leah now a few weeks now chatting, and just they've shown me how they work and what they do, and I've helped them and they've helped me. So like their pre-planning, their pre-production stuff is phenomenal. Where mine was dog shit. Like it was bad. Like I was like a run and gun. I'll be able to manage, be grand. But since being here and just learning that kind of stuff and kind of nailing it down in the last week, my pre-production stuff is kind of gone to the next level, which I'm very proud of. And should be better stuff coming out soon. So yeah.
I'd like to tell you as well that we can see that.
Oh yeah?
Oh my God. Like I'm loving what you're putting out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Loving it. Absolutely.
Awesome. And anyone who doesn't know Take9 Studios, this is because it's one of my highlights of the week of being in here. This is the coolest space ever. Have a look at their website, and it's just amazing. It's really, really good.
And I'm lucky to be here every day.
But what I want to ask you is about batch recording, because I'm good at planning videos and I'm good at pre-production, but to batch record my own videos, I just can't seem to get into the zone to do it.
It's tough. It's too coffee tough. Like it's like, do you know what I mean? It's just having it ready as the pre-production, having the script, having. Like, again, I kind of run and go with that idea. I do like to riff because I like to talk to camera, because I think if you're scripted, your personality won't really come across. But I think if you can have like highlight points and bullet points and work that way, it's much better personally, I think. But it's a system you just have to get used to. It's just I'm lucky. I have downstairs. I turn on the light and I record. Yeah. Where if you can set something up where it's there for you, if you can have a corner somewhere that you can just turn a light on and talk to camera, you're laughing. Because if you do set up and sit down every time, it will kill you. Like,
I'll give you a tip though, because actually I tried to do this with Jen, and I just found, because I'm like, I do naturally involve my content in my day, so it's very off the cuff most of the time, etc. When I tried to batch, I almost didn't look like myself. I looked quite robotic. The content was grand, so I found myself using what we recorded but just redoing it. And now if I walk down the road and I see something and I'm like, oh my God, that shouldn't be happening, I just voice note it into my WhatsApp. I send it to my husband, actually. He's like, what is she talking about? But I know that's where all my content lies. And then I just go back to it and I record it when I have time.
That's a good idea.
But because I'm reactive, I have to react at the time. So I don't always put it up straight away, but I've got to say what I want to say at that point.
And how are you on the batch recording?
Useless.
Yeah, me too.
The 140 days I did straight, I did it every single morning.
Which is phenomenal. Like, that's unbelievable.
Did
that almost kill you? Like, it had to almost kill you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even like I had to travel for work, everything else in between. Like I remember picking a hotel because they had a colour D background. Because I was like, I know, and even on my own time off, like on holidays, everything else in between. Yeah, just give me the 20 minutes in the morning to get my video done. But I remember some days just being like, I am exhausted.
I was so proud, Jen.
Can you summarise that? Because it was 140 days. You went from 1,000 subscribers and now you're on 80,000 followers on Instagram.
82.1 this morning. But yeah, no, I haven't done anything this week. I'm taking a little bit of a break now this week, and I tapered off. I always know how many videos I've done by the folder of thumbnails that I have, and I think there's like 164 thumbnails in there now, and I was like, I'll be alright.
And I love your thumbnails. Mid-Journey, you're doing them in, is it? Or
Mid-Journey, yeah.
Which I still can't get my head around. Like, I'm in Discord and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening?
/ imagine. Let's go.
What was your highlight?
My highlight was, yesterday I was at a conference for student entrepreneurs, and they got 300 students into a room from transition year, so all 16-year-olds. So I was terrified. So I went down to the hotel the night before, brought my mum down, had dinner with my mum, and then stayed up until about 1 doing the slides. But that wasn't the highlight. The highlight was the other entrepreneurs who were there. There was this guy from West Cork Beard Company, Colin, and his Instagram has 10,000 views, and like he's so creative. Like his videos are so funny, and now he's like going into wigs and stuff like that. And I love props, so I was looking at his stuff and I was like, I need to start doing that kind of stuff, like the actor kind of style
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'd really enjoy
Yeah.
that. And then there was Aisling Vaughan, who I met through you actually, Shan, and she's just so cool. Like, she's just one of the most authentic, cool people. And oh yeah, what I loved about what she did was we all stuck to the stage. And Aisling got her mic and got off the stage and walked through the crowd as she did her talk. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that
Oh my
is
God, it would
next
take
level.
everything in me to do that.
Would
I
it?
couldn't like physically bring
Oh,
myself
really?
to.
I'd want more than 300 people, though. I like a crowd.
But I think there is a big difference as well. Like, I think it's one skill set to speak to camera, it's another skill set to speak to an audience. And I think
Massive
you know,
so.
people think that they're the same, but they're not. You know, so you
No,
kind of have
no.
to get good at both of them. But okay, brilliant. Okay, so what? Are we allowed curse on this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
He already has.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as you did, I was like, perfect.
tone.
Stitches go
What's
stitches.
the worst word I know?
Jay, what pissed you off this week?
I won't name names. And when is this going out?
Monday.
Name and shame.
No, I won't. It's just, look, it happens. I understand it's business 100%, but
Yeah.
I had a shoot planned for last week and it got cancelled very last minute and it pissed me off. I was like, so I was so ready to go. I was in the mindset, I was ready to go. But look, I understand. Business is business. Things happen 100%. That's just a personal thing. Like, I don't blame the client. No, we didn't, because they've moved it. They haven't cancelled it.
Okay.
Which, like, again, they're great people to work with. They're great clients. And again, it's not their fault. It just happens in business. Stuff happens. It wasn't, it's more in my mind, like, fuck, I was really looking forward to that. It's like I have a whole thing, like, as I was saying, my pre-planning, my pre-production, I have it all planned out and ready to go, and I was excited to kind of execute it. Other than that, yeah.
Yeah, no, that sucks. And like, you know, I've recently charged a company €500 for a cancellation. I was just like, no, like, I have to. You can't do that to me. Do you know, like,
well, you've booked the day off.
Yeah.
Like, you could have had another client that day. I get it. I do 100% get it. I didn't want to charge a fee. We're shooting here. The guys didn't charge a fee, which is lovely of them. Like, it's just, we've moved the date.
Yeah.
And that's, you know.
Sucks. Yeah.
If that ever happens again, Jay, just ring me first, because
We
I
can-
always need pictures. But I do, like, we all do. And this is what actually one of my things that pissed me off this week was I was trying to put together a load of material, and it actually shocked me how many people didn't have decent pictures of themselves or their business, you know, and your brand and your personal brand, you know, it is your face, like, so you must have decent shots. So that aggravated me this week, because I think it's so simple, and I work with a lot of people that don't have a lot of budget, a lot of smaller companies, etc. However, it's one area I would never scrimp on. And you don't need a lot, you just need a small amount, because you'll be bored of them in 6 months anyway, and unfortunately we do change. I'm still using one from 2018, but I look like a ride, so who cares? But you know, you've got to keep that flow. So yeah, it was very difficult to put stuff together.
And like, you know, I got my photos done for 250 quid and I got the best photos ever. Now, it
Yeah.
could have been more planned. Like, I could have brought more props on the day. I just brought a phone, but I could have brought lots of things. But I'm still using them. I plan to use them into my 70s.
Like, to be fair, that's cheap, like, to be fair.
Yeah,
like,
isn't
if,
it
yeah,
really?
I,
It's
like, if I had a
ridiculously
branding, like, my typical branding day could be 600 plus.
Yeah.
Like, that's that's a half a day, not even. That's not including edit or. It's
Yeah.
just. But pure example, no, I shot a branding for Pat Fitzy's a singer here, a local singer here in Cork, and we were here for an hour and a half, and I got 60 shots of them. Now, I'm delighted with them. I think he is too. And it was just here. We had 2 coffees, we had tunes playing, we had good crack. And he's like, man, like, we should do this more often. I should do this every 6 months, like you said,
Yeah.
every 6 months, because he said, he looks great in them. It's because he's a wedding singer as well, so he needs content all the time.
Yeah.
And like you said, every 6 months, if you can get a photo shoot done, I know it's kind of daunting, a photo shoot, but when it comes down to it, they're great crack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
and I
type
think
in-
don't put it off, that thing, especially with women. Oh no, I need to lose another
No.
£3
Yeah.
before I
do
get
it,
my
like.
shoot. It's not going to happen.
We have
It's not
Photoshop.
going to happen. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to eat that cake before the week before. I'm going to give up. So just book it and just sort it out. But yeah, no, it's all good.
I'd be the type to bring in like a little rail of like, okay, I have 12 different jumpers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even-
like, I love that. That's
Every time
even
I'm-
better. Like,
Every time I've tried to batch content, that's the main reason I'm like, do I have enough jumpers to batch?
that's it with batching. That's a good tip for batching. Have different tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember actually. Do you remember International Women's Day? I think it was 2 years ago. I interviewed 20 different
Oh, I
women
remember
throughout
that,
the
yeah.
day, and I changed my top every half an hour for each different interview. was class, like.
Yeah, it's smart. Like it makes such a difference. Like,
I had all those jumpers, Jen. All those jumpers.
what pissed you off, Jen?
Yeah.
Oh, we have one particular, like, again, I won't name names, but this kind of grinding issue with one client at the moment, I guess. And this is a common issue across lots of clients, but paid advertising will only get you so far, as in, like, you know, you can get people over to the site, and they have a lead flow that is extensively long, and we've mapped out every single step of it. We've, like, detailed trackers, recordings, everything in the whole thing. And you can just see this, like, woof of people dropping off, and we must have presented the information 5-6 different ways at this stage, and it's just they had invested so much in that custom flow that they're kind of a little bit married to the flow, whereas I'm like, if we just drop a form on your page, we could probably bring in about 8 times the volume of people.
Oh God.
So, like, we can keep your current flow, or we can 8x your budget, or you can keep your current budget and we can switch this to a form. But that's a hard pill to swallow for them also, when they've invested God knows how much in this really custom flow through to, like, the SaaS app side of things. So rock and a hard place.
How long have they been utilising that? Like, when it comes to a sense of us presenting that to them and saying, look, you know, you've been doing this for X amount of time, let us test this for X amount of time. Is that where the problem lies? They won't even test it.
No one test it.
Oh, well, then I wouldn't let that.
Because the budget they spent on it, isn't it?
Because the budget has already been spent on it.
Oh,
so,
God.
So now do you want to double up your ad spend? Now, that being said, we use these custom landing page flows, like Unbounce is a tool you can use for example, where we can just drop in a form, but the custom flow has this, like, system in it that validates the customer a little bit. But I'm just like, let the sales team validate them. Let me just bring the people to you. Let the sales team deal with the validation. But yeah, it just goes to show sometimes that, like, you know, a simple form could save you like high 5 figures in spending on this, like, really fancy flow that you inevitably will have to spend 8 times more of your budget on.
It's amazing how people see or understand that as, well, it must work because we spend so much money on it.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
what are you talking about? It's
Yeah.
not working.
Why don't you just get more traffic?
What are you talking about? Do you know?
Are you that frank with them? Like, we can either 8 times your spend.
Oh
and
yeah,
keep it,
I'll actually even show you the message afterwards. It's so funny. It's like, there's 2 sentences. It's like, keep it, lose it. If you lose it, we'll keep your budget and get this many customers. If you don't, then this is like, are you able to spend upwards of like 100 grand a month?
And then again, are they saying to you, like, well, get us more leads because it's your job to get us leads? It's like, well,
I think if we just got more traffic to the site, I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, traffic to the site is my biggest bugaboo, because in the advertising platforms, you can literally say, would you like traffic or would you like conversions? And if I click conversions, you'll have less traffic but more conversions. And if I click traffic, you'll have more traffic and less conversions. Traffic doesn't mean it's conversion.
Vanity metric.
So I'm like,
I'd like to be a fly on the wall in their office with the person that paid the budget for the flow, justifying what they've done now. Because I think that's half the problem as well, is don't do it because I signed that off.
Yeah, it'll come back on me if we get rid of it now.
So I say there's some interesting conversations going on.
All egos.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know. The way.
Right, you, Jude?
My bureaucracy. My pissed me off this week was this company came to me, a large multinational company. One of their people has worked with me in the past, and they were like, "Oh, we're recording an event." So I was like, "Oh, great, let's jump on a planning call." So I had a 1-hour planning call with them, and like my planning now is really good. Like I give them a Google Doc at the end of it. It's like, why are we doing it? Who are we doing it for? Where is it going? Like everything is worked out by the end. It's very clear on what the shot list is. Everything is like ready to send to the videographer. And then at the end, I was like, "Now you do know that I record on phones," and like the faces dropped. Like, what? Oh, no. And then I was like, that's fine. I was like, I totally understand that, like, you know, some people just don't like the phone method. That's cool. I have 2 videographers that I know really well. I got in touch with you and I was like, how much would you charge for a similar event? Like, put a lot of work into it. Sent them the email and was like, no problem if you want me to suggest a videographer in the area. La, 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 la. Nothing back.
Ghosted.
ghosted.
God.
I was just like, I don't
we're
mind.
done with you.
Yeah, I know.
We're done
gone.
with you now.
Mobile piece of just like, I was just like, it's just a simple reply to say, do you know what? We actually have another videographer in mind. Thank you so much for your time, sole trader, who doesn't have a lot of time.
Do you know what you should do from now on? Send them that new Apple video.
Oh,
The event and said that was shot on iPhone.
And also, so was
Yeah.
this.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
get your head out your ass. Like, come on.
I talk about you a lot with the phone, and I'm always saying,
Yeah.
what was the TV program you worked on?
The Irish TV one, was
Yeah.
it? The Cork County Matters? No, different one.
No, the two lads.
Oh, the Young Offenders.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always say, and everybody goes, okay, so it is possible. And I'm like, oh my God, just go and follow the Vid Academy right now. You'll get it. Like, my God, like, yeah.
And even, sorry, Jen, I've seen your content go, like the quality of the visuals since you bought the iPhone 15.
Oh, really?
Day and night. I'm like, wow, that looks so good. Like, some newer phones actually do.
Yeah,
know,
I
I'm so
think
gonna have to
the
get rid of
camera on
that.
that is probably better than my
Camera.
like Sony camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure.
Now, Jay, do you want to fight me on that? Because you are still a traditional videographer.
I use both. If
Yeah.
I'm working with clients, like sometimes I'm shooting my phone, sometimes I'm working with my camera. Like it all depends on what's needed.
You see people with the camera and the phone on top,
Yeah, I
and
love
just like
that.
record with the phone. And just like,
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
the camera's
Yeah.
just
There's no
for show.
battery in
But
the
even even the beauty of that, like pure example, is I can control my camera with my phone as well. So like if I'm shooting, I can't get the angle, or I'm shooting myself, I can take videos of myself and see how the angle. That kind of stuff is amazing. But like I will get the iPhone 15 at some stage. Like that action mode is phenomenal, like phenomenal. Like, but pure example, I have a estate agent client where I do house tours on the phone because the stabilization in the phone is much better. And it's 4K and it looks amazing. It's
Yeah.
usually just for social, so they don't mind. I've said, look, I can do both, but this is just
Yeah.
as easy and it's just as good for that kind of stuff. But there's definitely a difference between camera and phone. And I love the camera. That's why I kind of cut my teeth on. So that's why I'm kind of
Yeah.
loyal to that.
Yeah. And especially in the edit when you want to change colour and do lovely
Correct.
things
When
like
you have that raw,
Yeah,
that rawness.
yeah.
No, you have the ProRes Apple,
Yeah.
but you need a terabyte or two hard drive connected to it as you record. Like.
Now, I'm shooting, actually, the next section is teach me something new, and I didn't have something in mind, so I am going to bring this up as the teach me something new. So when I am filming a proper video on my phone, I use an app called Filmic Pro, and it allows me to shoot in log V3. So I'm shooting without colour, with a higher dynamic range, and then I can add the colour in and post. It's a bit of a workflow, but it does look really cool. And I think people would be, like, if I compare, like, I'm like, which is phone? Actually, you did a video. Which is phone, which is Sony. I was able to tell because I'm so used to looking at the two.
Even the colours
but it's
and the
very
temperatures
hard to tell.
different.
Like,
Again, it's depth of field. It's the color. Like I tried to have the same depth. They actually had the exact same depth of field on it, the same f-stop. And again, I could tell the phone.
Yeah.
But some people did say the other side.
Cool.
They said the camera was the phone and vice versa. But there's also an app called Blackmagic, which is a video camera app. Now you can only shoot landscape wise. You can't shoot vertically with that. Again, like that full control of your camera. Like it literally unlocks the entire actual iPhone camera, where you can mess with make it raw, make it whatever you want to do, S-Log or like I usually shoot S-Log 2 or S-Log 3, it depends on or Cinetone on the camera, and you can't get that color range on the phone.
and the other benefit to it as well is that I always like to monitor sound, like to listen while I'm recording. When you're using the native camera on the phone, even if you have an adapter, it's only going to mic go in or headphone out. But with Filmic Pro, you can actually listen and record at the same time, and that gives me an awful lot of kind of security about the thing. So it's good.
Never listen to audio when I'm recording.
Do you not?
Never.
Brave.
Well, I have the DJ mic hooked to me, so I can't be listening while I'm shooting the camera or whatever it is. Like, you mean?
Yeah.
But like, if I see the levels, like this now, I'm looking at the level board, I see it right.
Yeah.
It's hitting the right peak. I'm good.
Yeah.
And
Very
then
good.
Just
I do always have two though. Even though I'm not listening, I'll have a second mic somewhere near me because I've just been burned with it before as well.
with the beauty of the one I have, the DJI, is it records to this mic and records to the camera as well.
Oh,
So there's
I have
two
that
versions of it.
mic as well. I wonder if
Yeah,
it
so
does
you
that.
just press the record.
So I'm doing it three times.
Do you know what I mean? So that mic you have is actually recording to that.
Oh, I
you
didn't
can press the
realise,
record button, it records this, and then you put a USB to that, and it also records the receiver as well.
I didn't know that.
But ever since Adobe Podcast Enhance, I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
you know,
like it's still great, but I can still tell every time when it's on.
can you?
Every
You can
time.
hear
Yeah,
it?
every time.
Okay.
What's
Interesting.
driving
Which
me
is
mad
fine.
about the DJI mic at the moment is the USB-C adapter doesn't actually work on the iPhone. So I've had to stop using my wireless mic until I get an adapter.
I have the adapter. It came in the pack. It literally slips to the bottom and connects to the iPhone.
Yeah, but the USB-C one doesn't work on the iPhone for some reason. So you can't use.
The new
so I have
okay.
to get like I have to get just.
That's
get
weird,
like
isn't it?
Same as the
Yeah,
road
it's
ones.
really annoying.
That issue.
So yeah, my last few videos I've just had to use the audio enhancer because the DJI mic won't connect on the wall.
It's a pain because it's just sitting there then, like.
Exactly, yeah. And I googled it, and got.
But no, you can record the mic
Reddit.
and sync and post if that's any good to you.
Yeah, that's what I might do actually.
No, it's a pain to sync, but it is what it is like.
Yeah.
So, Shan, can you teach me something
Well,
new?
I actually stopped listening about 5 minutes ago when you said the next section is teach me something new. Because I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that was a section.
I might have added that in on my own.
No, you're grand.
I know this can be like, a life hack or a quick tip to make your life
Well, my
more
tip
effective.
is simplify everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's my number one tip. I teach a lot of small business owners. So when we talk about, they'll listen to a lot of what you've just said in the last 5 minutes, and they'll be ringing me and saying, Sean, what were they talking about? Which I would have been like the same 2 years ago. Do you know what I mean? And so I spend a lot of my life in Instagram, but not just creating content, but actually doing everything in there. I hardly come out of it at all now, actually. And so, for instance, I did a workshop there 2 weeks ago, and I just taught the women, because they're time sensitive, how to do everything in there, resize, edit, everything. Brilliant. And not leave the app at all. So I suppose today's learning tip would be just to simplify. Don't overthink things. Yeah. You just spoke about the difference in the picture from the Sony camera to the phone. And you were saying you could tell straight away. I couldn't tell straight away. That's not my job to be able to do that. However, I also thought as well, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. Content is
I
content.
don't really care. They were both really nice.
Yeah.
I really like them. So sometimes don't overthink it. I'm prone to do it myself as well. So my tip today would be don't overthink and just simplify.
Yeah, you could take one quick look at my videos and realise that the worst ones, the most embarrassing thing in the whole world is my second highest performing video, nearly 3 million views on it at the moment, and I've mispronounced the word Adobe.
Oh, no.
What should you call it?
Adobe.
Okay.
I just hadn't heard it out
That's
loud.
all right.
Wow, yeah, that happens to
Just
me all
hadn't
the
heard
time.
it out loud.
I need to do it live on the podcast to you.
Okay.
Meta,
Oh, meter.
not Meta.
So I'm
Meta,
Welsh and
because
I'm
you were talking on this. You were doing some post, or you were talking, and you're like, "Oh, the meter's back. Meter's charging." I'm like, "You talking about like a gas subscription, or something? Like a meter reading?" I thought you were meter, and you're like,
Yeah, no,
Meta.
absolutely. And because I differentiated because the word meta, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, it can't be the same, surely. So it must be meter. And obviously, as well, I'm completely dyslexic and Welsh, so we speak phonetically, see? So it's definitely meta.
I bought a pizza.
But yeah, no,
tuppence
I
on
must change that, actually. A few people have texted me on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I do all that stuff all the time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't think there's any issue with like pronouncing things wrong, but like it's the people who in the comment section hang on
It's
that
the
stuff.
sheer
Just,
volume.
like,
Yeah, with 3 million views, you're
Where
even
I
10%
just-
of them, like,
Yeah. I had to. I just got to a point where I blocked the word AH-DO-BEE from the comments.
Oh my
Because
god!
I was just like,
Oh god!
no way. And I think I probably deleted maybe 300 or 400 comments with it, and I was just like, why am I even deleting them? I was like, oh, should I just pin a comment acknowledging that? I was like, this is so stupid. Everyone knows what I mean. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Just let it go. And then I was
you
just
just put
like,
a comment.
it's
I
just
know, you know what I
bombarded.
mean.
Yeah,
F
exactly.
off, like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did
Oh
this
my
for
God.
views.
Yeah.
And what made you not delete the video? Because I would
2.8 million views.
Oh, already before, like,
It's
yeah.
a tactic people do. Is
Oh,
they'll
yeah,
mispronounce
yeah,
a word
yeah.
or they'll do something silly,
Yeah.
and then people will jump on the comments and they just
Oh,
drive the
I
interaction
do that all the time. I misspell things all the time.
for interaction. right?
Just for engagement.
Yeah.
It's funny, even though, because you were saying about the props and stuff, and we have a client at the moment where we're running ads with their influencers' content, and the influencer like has a conversation with himself back and forth, but he puts a wig down his shirt as like a big chest hair thing as like the other person, and it just flies because like the advertising platforms actually, you will pay a whole lot less for your ad the longer someone watches it or the more engagement it gets, because you're paying for attention. So if you can hold people's attention, you get the luxury of a cheaper advert consistently all the time. So like static crappy ads from Canva templates will always just be an arm and a leg more expensive. But like that, even just the smallest silly little thing can completely change. I'm talking like 3 times cheaper compared to their other ads running. Bit of
crazy.
chest hair.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Is that your teacher something new? Because that was good.
Maybe. Yeah.
I also learned from you this week from the many chats auto scenario of comment here and below.
Oh,
and we'll
yeah.
DM you the
so
thing.
handy.
That's what I learned from you this week as well.
Talk to me about that. What is it? Sorry.
So Jen found it. Like, if you want to.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So there's this tool called ManyChat.com, and you can put in a workflow essentially. So you can say, if someone comments this word on my video, automatically reply in their DMs with this message. So I can put out a video and say, hey, look, I've put together a ton of backgrounds for videos. If you'd like a copy of it, just comment background below. Drives up the engagement. They're all getting a DM with the information. And then in that folder, you can add your own little things, like a little note on how to get in touch with you. You can start having the conversation back and forth. It's like $15 a month for the version I'm using. But what I noticed is that every time it messages someone, it clocks them as a contact. And then when you go above 500 contacts, it tries to charge you more and more and more and more. But I don't use the contact feature, so every day not every day, but at the end of the week, I'll just go in and delete the contacts, and it just keeps the flow going. It doesn't matter, and then you don't get charged anymore. So
Because I did see the DM thing, but I thought that she was manual, or I knew she'd have an automation set up for it, but I wasn't sure how.
But it's super handy. So I
imagine
did one
if I was
where
sitting there copying and pasting
I
that
know.
all day.
I created an ebook with just 80 filmmaking terms and sayings that you need to know if you're ready on set, that kind of idea. And then it was, but I said to you, I learned immediately, like I have maybe 15 comments on it. With like so yourself or Killian from K-Media did it and he got 300 comments. I didn't hook him in the first 3 minutes. My opening was, I created an ebook, it's free. But the fact I said I create an ebook, people are like, nah, fuck you. Like the fact, like, so, but when the guys did it, they said, do you want a free thing? And that's what caught people. So, but it was super handy, went straight to the Google Drive and got interaction and stuff, but it's definitely worth looking into.
And even when, when we were chatting out there about it, there's like 4 videos on my account that have that with comment below. And the poorest performing one, the word comment just skips the first line in the caption. It's the only one that does it, and I think there's 11,000 views on that one, and then all of the other ones have at least 25, which is a massive difference, and that's the only thing I can really spot. But
so the beauty of ManyChat is I have like 5 different responses put into it, and it automatically responds to them. So once they do it, so it's my language saying thanks a million, cheers. But that just drives interaction massively.
That's the 2-part piece. Like as soon as they comment, they get 1 of 5 replies that you've already put in, like in terms of the comment on the post, and then they also get the message in the DMs. And
they usually respond to that DM with a heart or emoji or thanks a million. So Instagram is seeing you're being DM'd, you're being tagged, you're being like, oh, this all this
and
thing,
is
like,
it immediate? Because
immediate.
Okay.
Yeah,
immediate.
You go on to my account and just look for one of them. They're in the last 5 videos. Comment on it, and you'll see it just boom, boom.
And I'm still trying to build like my email subscription, like to get someone's email. I think is like because I could be totally wrong about this now, but in my mind, I'm like that's the be all and end all.
Yeah, it's still good to have an offline audience.
Do you mind not getting their email addresses as part of?
It's a big ask. A lot of people don't want to give emails these days. Like, you have to be giving some amount of value for that. Like, and again, I have an email thing that I set up, a 7-day masterclass in photo and video, lighting, all this kind of stuff. And I did it and we pushed and stuff, and I was like, after 7 days, like, what, like, yes, it's amazing for likes of Jen, who's built an amazing audience, to then say, right, I've done a course or I've done this kind of stuff, I've releasing a digital product. 100% that's what's amazing for the email list. And again, knock on wood, Instagram goes down tomorrow and becomes shit and everyone else goes to someone else. We've all lost that audience. Like, it's better to have them offline in like, not offline, but you know what I mean, on a Google Doc somewhere that you can contact them directly instead of relying on an app.
There's a really good tool called leadinforce.com. So it's like leadenforce.com. And what it does is it's like an audience scraping tool. So like, say for example, I wanted to set up ads and I was going to chase, I wanted all of Jay's clients. So I was like, right, I'm going to chase Jay. What I would do is like, I can put in his Instagram account, scrape the audience and import it into the ad platform. And you can't do that any other way. But like if you were working with a brand and say like you pull all their competitors are actually a bad audience, but that's a side note. But you can start pulling audiences based on like the type of content that they look at, influencers, different things, scrape it into an audience and then target them with ads directly in the ad platform. But you can only keep the audience loop with lead force in the mix, which is the catch. But
I'm so
And
happy this is
expensive.
recorded because I'm going back to listen to this and like on repeat 5 times ago.
It's probably
Lead
expensive as well,
in
is it?
force. How do we do
not
this?
as bad as you'd think. I think it was around 49 or something a month.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, if you're doing a big ad campaign, it's nothing to pull in the audience. From that, I actually think you get your first audience for free. If I'm not mistaken.
Class. Jay, teach us something new.
Whoa.
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah. The Instagram thing I saw Killian talk about. Did you see that? Where like you can, so you're on Instagram stories and you wanted a backdrop of an image, and you can select your image, but you want, let's say you share a post to your stories and this post there, you can then add an image. I'm not explaining this properly at all. I have a new post I've just done on Instagram I want to share to my stories, but I want to put an image as my background on the post. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So image and then my post. There's no way that Instagram, only the last few days, that if you hold it down and swipe down, it lets you lock images and stuff on the stories. Because like, you know, there's nothing worse when you're doing a story on Instagram and then it disappears and you're like, oh, and you're trying to fix it back and you're like, but now you can lock individual pieces and swipe down and stuff. So go to K Media Instagram. He did one recently on it. It's a good video.
Nice one. I don't follow them actually, so I know I saw his car outside and I was like, I must follow them. Okay.
I forgot about it. I had to teach someone something.
I know. And you know what? I'm actually going to skip probably the 60-second pitch, unless anyone has a 60-second pitch for something they find handy. It's similar to teach me something new.
Oh yeah. No, I don't pitch anything.
Yeah.
Many chat.
Many chat. We probably already.
Yeah,
I
we've
probably
done it, yeah.
Because they
accidentally
do-
pitched
yeah.
like 4 different duos.
And they do email as well for that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
automate that stuff, yeah.
I think we're coming to an end now for this one, and that's good because we want to keep these short. But what I said is, like, let's put in our goal, one goal for the week ahead, one thing that you have to do, and then next week we'll keep you accountable. That's another thing I wanted to learn from you, but I also wanted someone to go. Did you do that? Shan, I'll go to you
I've got
first.
a couple.
You've got a big week ahead.
So I'm back in MTU doing digital marketing, and I have to get a WordPress website in by the end of the week. Also, my second assignment, and I have to make sure that the Women in Business Awards run smoothly next Thursday. So that's my week, and keep me accountable. Well, I think you're all coming, so you'll know if they're any good or not. But
We'll record our second podcast in the bathroom from there.
Going back to MTU has been interesting, I suppose. But I'm ready for it.
For people who don't know what MTU is.
Oh, MTU is what is MTU? It's supposed to be
University.
CIT.
Yeah.
Yeah,
University, is it?
Munster Technology. Yeah,
University.
because it used to be CIT, didn't it? So yeah, I've gone back. I've been working in digital marketing, or well, in marketing since 2000s, do you know what I mean? But I thought I might go back. I applied actually for an editing course, and I'm definitely going to do that in January because I want to be better at it. And it got cancelled, and this came up, and I said, you know what? I love to learn. So I'm always doing something. So I'm doing it. I don't know how much I've learned, but I'm definitely doing it, and it's finished at Christmas, so it's grand. But yeah, assignments together are quite difficult, especially when the awards are coming up. But it's all
And
good.
I'm really looking forward to the awards, by the way. Like, you know, people who like know me from like, you know, like doing workshops and stuff probably think I'm quite extroverted and out there, but like I actually hate going to events. If I can avoid going to something, I will do anything to get out of going to something. But I had a great time at your event. I don't know if you purposefully sat me next to 2 of the greatest people of all time, but like I made 2 friends almost that night, and I still keep in touch with them, and it was so much fun. And I heard that Jay sang. I left early. I was very
Oh,
good.
It was up on
Yeah,
stage.
see.
Yeah. The people who left early lost.
You missed out. You missed
Good
out.
crack.
Special guest appearance last year, so we'll have to get him back this year.
Oh, sorry, and I won. I got the Solopreneur of the Year award, but I won a massive check, which was one of my bucket list items to hold. A massive check. I was like, "This is." I
Did
still
you
have
take?
it.
I was going to say, did
I
you take
took
it with you? Good.
I went back for that.
That's
Like,
why
I
she
was
left early.
I was actually laughing because they rang me today and said we need to order the 7 checks. I said 7 checks, 1 check. You can reuse it, and they went, Sean, we definitely had 7 checks. I went, really, God, budgets were good last year.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, okay, then get the 7 check.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, I'm
That's
really
definitely
glad
good.
because I would have pushed for that this year. Jen, what do you have that you'd love to do and keep you accountable this week?
Well, actually, I'm kind of focusing on what not to do more than what I am
Lovely.
doing this week, which
done.
is trying to just not create any content on Instagram. Just give myself a break this week from it and just kind of settle back into it next week. We're changing around like a lot of our media planning for 2024 internally in the company, so I'm just trying to get ahead of that. And also, I just need to. We use a tool called Teamwork for our project management. They're actually based here in Cork. And I need to do a teamwork cleanup. I need to do like all the utility planning and everything. So I'm just like disregarding content, everything else, and just going back to like clear executive structure of the business for the week, and then just kick off next week on it again. So yeah, it's more about what I'm not doing than doing this week.
Nice.
Amazing.
I have to apply the 80-20 rule to my life, both work and home life. It's just, I'm out of sorts at the moment where I'm not in line, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So 80% of my problems are coming from 20% of my clients, or so like there's subscriptions I need to cancel. There's like this kind of stuff where I'm like, fuck, I didn't cancel that last week and it's come out again this month, or that kind of stuff. Or there's projects I need to kind of follow up on, this kind of stuff. Just basically getting in line. 80-20 rule is the best thing ever.
Brilliant, great. I spent 80% of my time making a course, and like I put all the time into now like planning, filming and editing this course that has like 7 videos, and it's all about CapCut. It's all about like, you know, learning TikTok templates, moving up to voiceover videos and then to pieces to camera. And I put so much time into planning and editing that when it was finally launched, I was like, I just have no motivation now to sell it. So this newsletter thing, like all I have to do is get my newsletter together and send it. But I haven't sent a newsletter in over a year. So I'm like, how do I even begin? So if you can if I can by the next time we speak, have that just email sent out, I will be so happy with myself.
100%. What software are you using?
I'm actually using Wix. I'm doing,
really?
and I'm hosting the whole thing within Wix. I was paying
Interesting.
for Teachable, and I
Yeah.
found Teachable just to be annoying. So
Clunky,
Teachable, but
very
it's like
clunky.
Couldn't
awful.
agree more,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it's very
Maybe talk
clunky.
about that next time. I don't like it.
Great, yeah, I don't like it either. And then
Kajabi's very clunky as well.
and everyone's like, go to Kajabi. Kajabi will change your life, and I'm like, everything's supposed to change your life, and it never does. So I'm like, Wix is fine. It's all in one, and it's really simple. So yeah,
We use Tutor LMS within WordPress.
within WordPress, what do you use?
Nice.
Tutor LMS within WordPress.
Is it good? Do you like it?
Yeah, well, we suppose we use WordPress for everything. We actually decline clients who have Wix.
Go away,
Yeah, so
because
slow.
it's just not for ads.
so slow.
I'm a WordPress girl as well, and we actually took all of our Teachables off, put it in Vimeo, and do it that way.
Oh no way!
Much
And I used to be WordPress. I just found it like the most unfun thing to ever work in.
What you got to do is WordPress with Elementor.
Yeah.
And then Tutor LMS with Elementor, and it's a drag and drop visual design. Like you design your WordPress as if it's front end.
Yeah.
And Elementor works really nicely with the page speed tools. So that's what we.
This is not what I wanted to hear today, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah,
so
throw
good,
Wix
though.
out the window. She was so happy to show us Wix. Like,
So, yeah,
Burn
no.
it.
Yeah, I was kind of like, what's she saying Wix for? What was that about? But
Triggered by the word.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh. But I think from listening to you all, there's one thing we could all keep ourselves accountable for, and not just for next week, is, I don't know if you agree with me, it sounds like you do, that this year has been a mental year. And I think everything we learned over 220 to 222 about better looking after ourselves, I think I certainly forgot this year. And I want to make myself much more accountable in 224 to make sure that I don't work like I worked this year. It was too much. And so already now my planner's on the wall, and there's a lot of no's on there, and I've pre-planned to say no on certain days and aspects of my life, and I've started booking my trips again. So I need to be accountable for that every week.
I need to give you a guy, Rich Webster. He's class. I did a course with him, how to work less.
Yes.
But like, obviously, I'm like, I have plenty of time. I don't want to work less. But what I joined the course was his SOPs, his standard procedures. They're just unbelievable. Like he works completely off Notion. It's phenomenal. It's class. I referred a few people to the course, and they're all saying it's brilliant as well.
Okay.
Have you heard of Cal Newport? Kind of similar to him. It's like the SOPs, the Notion, the second brain system, like that all works really well in Notion. But there's Cal Newport's deep work. book is just, I
I've heard good
probably
things
go
about
back
it.
and read it at least once a year. And
Do audio, I don't read.
Yeah.
Don't have time to read, Jack.
Audio is fine as well, but
Yeah.
it comes with a time block like planner with it that I don't
Okay.
actually use because they really frustrate me. Like
Yeah.
I can't.
No, I'm the same.
But he works off this methodology that's really interesting where it like allows you, when you put together a plan for the day and the plan doesn't go your way and then the whole plan is fucked because you fucked up one thing. I'm like that anyway, and I'm like,
Days gone.
Yeah.
day's gone.
Yeah.
But with this, what he encourages is like, okay, that didn't happen, and then you move it out one block here. So at the end of the day, you have this little mini list that you take into next day. And
Yeah.
like it's
But
just like a little rotating
Yeah.
system.
Visually,
Kind of
it
work
helps.
like that. I
doesn't
mean,
it?
when I
Different,
trained
yeah.
as a coach, that's how we're taught to train people.
It's the permission to do it more so than anything, which is
100%.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I get caught in a loop. I'm like, oh, okay, day
Yeah.
is gone.
Yeah.
And eating the frog, get the worst crap out of the way first thing in the morning. There's something really lovely about that, actually.
Yeah.
Frees you up.
Make those calls, make that email.
Yeah.
The hardest thing in the morning, get it done. Because
I could put something off like every day.
Oh,
really
same.
easily.
Yeah.
It's
I
an
got-
I
art.
always find
Yeah.
I have to
It
do
is.
like something to get me like a little spring in my step. I'm like, right, what is the minimum viable thing that I can get done before 9 a.m. And then I'm like, okay,
This is
now
good.
I'll do something harder.
Yeah.
I'll just end up cleaning the bathroom. I'll be in the
Yeah.
bathroom and I'm like, oh, this is something now.
I got an email this morning at 7:00, and it wasn't negative, but it was like, this needs to be done, or we need this to happen for this to happen. And I was like, I was driving with my son to school, and this is in my head the whole time, and I was like, just fucking respond. Yeah, no problems. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm completely overthinking this. Like, no
Yeah.
problems. Yeah, let's get this
Yeah.
done. I'm available these days,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was just
Yeah.
get it done. Like,
Well, I
Yeah.
went through like the full client list this week, and I had a serious conversation with myself. I was like, which of these can I not keep going with into 2024? And like I looked at the cash flow model, I looked at everything. I looked, the growth model that I sent for this.
Yes.
We use a like fairly extensive version of it internally. And I was looking at it and I was looking back and I was just like what you mentioned, the 80-20 thing. I was like, which of these 20 that are under a certain value, because I'm willing to be screamed at over a certain value. To be honest.
yeah. Per month, I'm willing to be screaming.
Yeah. I will be screamed at X amount. And then I
I've
just
got clients that listen to this, they'll be like, oh my God, she's dropping me, she's skipping me.
No, definitely not. It's more that like there comes a point where you have to say, am I doing my best work for these
For
people,
them.
for them?
Yeah.
And looking at it from like, right, if they like having the hard honest conversation of like where the agency is at now, would they be having a better life in a smaller agency or a different agency or a structure that's slightly different for them? So yeah, I went through everyone, and it was actually a really positive experience talking to them and just being transparent and being like, we've been doing this for you for like, you know, maybe a year now, and this is where you're at. But if you actually went and did this, then actually you'd be in a better position, and inevitably, like I have to just structure my time a little differently going into next
And
year.
that trust value of sending people to elsewhere is worth its weight in gold. It really is.
Yeah.
People
Because
underestimate it.
Because there's no client on the book that I dislike working with.
Yeah.
It's always about, you know,
Am I
look-
serving you the best?
Am I
Like, are
serving you
getting
the best
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
And then is this relationship working back and forth? Because at any given point, I feel like it's something I'm going to start doing every 6 months, because at any given point, the relationship agency and client will inevitably run sour if you don't do it.
Yeah.
Because eventually, whatever something you're picking up on is just going to fester out anyway. So
Yeah.
doing the tidying up everything,
Yeah.
admin world.
And going at it head on, like you said, if there's something festering, talk to them.
Yeah. Get it
Talk
out,
to anyone.
get it
Talk to your
done.
client. Talk
Yeah.
to your agency if you're a client of an agency.
Yeah.
Say, look, I'm not happy with this. Can we talk? Like, don't let it sit there, because then
No.
once the invoice for the agency comes in, you're like, fuck these guys. No, they're not doing that. And it's like, well,
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
know you didn't like it.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. It's when
Yeah.
the invoice comes in then that you'd want to have all your conversations. That we invoice at the end of the month. So I have to make sure that all my conversations are done
Absolutely.
the third week of
Just don't ghost, isn't that right? Dude?
Yeah,
Don't
don't
ghost.
ghost.
It's not acceptable in life. It's not acceptable on social. Ghosting is just rubbish.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
putting someone off is better than ghosting. Okay, I'm going to
100%.
conclude there, guys. I'm going to say, like, thank you all for meeting me today. This was so enjoyable, and like, this is exactly why I wanted to do this. Like, there's so many things. I needed a bit of motivation. I feel like at the moment I'm kind of like low in motivation, and I need to see ye and hear ye and kind of go, okay, like we're all in in this together. These are people I can reach out to. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week with maybe a name for the podcast, and hopefully we'll continue with this more structured format. But if anyone is listening, we would love this to be collaborative and try to get your ideas. We have other ideas for shows where you send us your Instagram or your website, and we do kind of an analysis of it in a very balanced way. We won't like slay it,
Rip
but
it apart.
We're going
Jay will rip
it apart.
We'll do bad cop, good cop on it and see how it goes. But thanks a million for listening, and we will talk to you next time.